I'm Kathy from Braun's Gardens, and I'm here today to show you how to do seeding for your vegetable garden or your flower patch. What I have here first is soilless mix. It's made up of peat moss, vermiculite, and perlite. And this here is very necessary for planting in your home, because if you have damp off, which is when the flowers or the little baby vegetables, they get up about a ½ an inch and then they just fall right over. And that's because they have damp off, because you're using soil from your garden or soil that has been used before, and it has too much bacteria in it. So what we do is we have this soilless mix available at any of your little local garden centers or the big box stores. This is the type of seeding tray that Braun's Gardens uses, and you can use little deli containers which have lids, which work perfectly. You don't have to have something like this. These are available in some stores. You can use milk cartons, bottom halves of milk cans actually, or milk jugs work really well, because you cut it off, you save the top, and then your top will be your tent. So I have this type of a system that we use, and then I filled this up with some of the soilless mix. I pat it so it's not too loose. I don't want it to just sink down as soon as I touch it. It has been dampened, but it's not soggy, and you don't want it too soggy because it's just going to turn to mud and it's going to be hard to handle. So I have this one already filled up. The type of seed that I am starting on today is Red Beauty bell peppers, which germinate quite fast, and they have a nice amount of seeds. You get some to start, and you have to be careful not to just sprinkle it on. You have to space them apart, because at like 8 to 10 per row, because if you crowd it, it will be a problem for transplanting. Here, there. And I put in 8 per row, because I have killed so many baby plants trying to transplant them after they turned into a little forest because I got too happy with my seeding. I think I got a space there yet. That is about how I would plant it, and your seed packet will say whether to cover it or not. This one does not say to cover it, so I am not going to. I press it very carefully, and you kind of want to look at your hands in case the seed came with you like that, and put it back. Then, after that is done, we spray it to it helps to settle it in. So I would have my whole tray like this. And if I need to skip some rows, I can do that. Depending upon how much, you don't have to fill up a whole tray. You don't have to have every row planted. You can just leave some so that you can add in later on. Say that later on in the year you want to start some tomatoes, like say 2 to 3 weeks later, you can always add in some more soil, just not disturb it. What's going to be important is that we want to keep it damp and we want to keep it warm. So we cover it with a lid. This can be saran wrap. It can be a baggie. If you're using like a deli container, then it has its own little lid, and that works really well. One of the things that you want to think about when you are finding a place to set this is it has to be warm. If you're using your basement, it's going to need a heating mat. And the heating mat will help keep the temperatures up. You have to watch your soil temperatures, and you can use a temperature probe to check. But the soil should be 65 to 75 degrees for most germination. You can read the seed packets and find out. Then remember that the soil is going to be 10 degrees lower than the room temperature. So if your house temperature is 70, that means the soil is 60, and it's not going to germinate well. On top of the refrigerator, we'll elevate it so that it is at the higher part of the room and will stay warmer. And there are you could put it near a heater, but not on a heater, because they'll dry out too fast. Then just spray it when it gets too dry, and it won't take long to germinate, and the germination days, usually I'll say 3 to 4 days to germinate. will be on the packet. If you have any questions, look at our Facebook, Braun's Gardens, and leave a comment. Thank you.